Jai Mahamaya Ki Jai. We're going to continue with chapter 45 of book 9. Nayana said, the excellent, most sweet stories of Swaha and Swada are told. Now I will tell you the story of Dakshina. There was a good-natured gopi named Sushila, beautiful, Radha's companion, very dear to Sri Vishnu. She was fortunate, respected, beautiful, lovely, prosperous. Her whole body was tender and lovely like the Kalavati. She was beautiful and her eyes were like the water lilies. Her hips were good and spacious, her breasts were full. She was Shyama. Always a smile sweetened her face, and the look always gracious. Her whole body was covered with jewels. Her color was white like the white kampakas. Her lips were red like the bimba fruits. Her eyes were like those of a deer. Sushila was very clever in animal sciences. Her gait was like a swan. She was specially versed in what is called prema bhakti, love toward gods. So she was the dearest lady of Sri Krishna, and she was of intense emotional feelings. She knows all the sentiments of love. She sat to the left of Sri Krishna in the presence of Radha. Sri Krishna then cast his glance on Radha, the chief of the gopis, and hung down his head through fear. Radha's face turned red. The two eyes looked like red lilies. All of her body began to quiver out of anger. Her lips began to shake. Seeing the state of Radha, Sri Krishna disappeared, fearing that a quarrel might ensue. Sushila and other gopis, seeing that the peaceful Krishna of sattvic guna and a lovely form had disappeared, began to tremble with fear. Then 1,00,000 gopis, seeing Krishna absent and Radha angry, became very much afraid, and bowing their heads down with devotion and with folded palms began to say frequently, Radha, protect us, and they took shelter at her feet. O Narada, then 3 lakhs of gopas, including Sudama and others, took shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Radha out of fear. Seeing the Krishna absent and her companion Sushila running away, Radha cursed her thus, if Sushila comes again to this Golaka, she will be reduced to ashes. Thus cursing her companion Sushila out of anger, Radha, the darling of the Devas, and the lady of the Rasa circle, went to the Rasa circle and called on Krishna, the Lord of the same. Not being able to find out where Krishna was, a minute appeared a yuga to her, and she began to say, O Lord of Puranas, O dear to me than my life, O presiding deity of the life, O Krishna, my life seems to depart from me during your absence. Come quickly and show thyself to me. O Lord, it is through the favor of one's husband that the pride of a woman gets increased day by day. Women's safeguards of happiness are their husbands. Therefore, women who are helpless creatures ought always to serve their husband according to Dharma. The husband is called Bharata because he supports his wife. He is called Pati because he preserves her. He is called Bandhu because he increases her happiness. And he is called Ramana because he gives enjoyment to her. The husband is dearer to a family woman than 100 sons. Taking baths in special places and yagas and circulating around the whole earth, holy fastings and all the dictates of the sastras, serving the guru, the brahmanas and the devas, all can't compare 1/16 with serving faithfully the feet of the husband. As to man, the spiritual teacher who imparts the spiritual knowledge is the best and supreme. So to women, their husbands are the best of all. Oh, am I not able to realize the glory of my dearest, by whose favor I am the sole ruler of 1,00,000 gopis, 1,00,000 gopas, innumerable brahmanas, and all the things thereof. Thus saying, Radha began to meditate with devotion on Sri Krishna. Tears began to flow incessantly from her eyes. She exclaimed, "O Lord, O Ramana, show thyself to me. I am very much weak and distressed from my bereavement." Now the Dakshina Devi, driven out from the Golaka, practiced tapasya for a long time when she entered into the body of Kamala. The Devas, on the other hand, performed a very difficult yajna, but they could not derive any fruit from it. So they went to Brahma, becoming very sad. Hearing them, Brahma meditated on Vishnu for a long time and with devotion. At last Vishnu gave him a reply. Vishnu got out of the body of Mahalakshmi, Lakshmi of the earth, and gave her Dakshina to Brahma. Then, with a view to yield to the Devas the fruits of their karmas, Brahma made over to the Yagya Deva, the Deva presiding on over the sacrifice, the Devi Dakshina, offered by Narayana. Yagna Devi then worshipped her duly and recited hymns to her with great joy. Her color was like melted gold, her luster equaled to the moon. Very lovely, beautiful, fascinating face resembling water lilies of a gentle body with eyes like padmas, flowers. Born in the body of Lakshmi, worshipped by Brahma, wearing celestial silken garments, her lips resembling like a bimba fruit, chaste, handsome, her braid of hair surrounded by malati garlands, with a sweet smiling face ornamented with jewels, enchanting the minds of the munis. Below the hair of her forehead, the dot of musk and sindoor scented with sandal paste, of spacious hips, smitten by the arrows of Karmadevi, the god of love. Such was the Dakshina Devi. Seeing her, the Yagya Deva fainted. At last he married her according to the rites and ceremonies. Taking her to a solitary place, they enjoyed each other for a full divine 100 years with great joy, like Lakshmi Narayan. Gradually, then Dakshina became pregnant. She remained in this state for 12 divine years. Then she duly delivered a nice son as the fruit of karma. When any karma becomes complete, this son delivers the fruits of karma. Yagna Deva, with his wife Dakshina and the above-named son, the bestower of the fruits of actions, gives the desired fruits to all the sacrificial acts and karmas. So the Pandits and knowers of the Vedas say, really, he henceforth began to give fruits to all the persons of the acts with his wife Dakshina and son, the bestower of the fruits of actions. The Devas were all satisfied at this and went away, respectively, to their own abodes. Therefore, the man who performs karmas, generally known as the karma kartas, should pay the dakshina, the sacrificial fee, and so he completes at once his actions. If it is stated in the Vedas that no sooner the karma kartas pay the dakshina than he obtains the fruits of the karmas at once. In case the karma karta, after he has completed his acts, does not pay either through bad luck or through ignorance any dakshina to the brahmanas, is doubled in a murahati, passes away, and if one night elapses, it increases 100 times. If a year passes away, that increases to 10 millions of times. He has no right to any further actions for that sin. He becomes a pauper and deceased. Lakshmi Devi goes away from his house, leaves him, cursing him severely. So much so that the Pitras do not accept the Shraddha Tarpanam offered by that wretched fellow. So the Devas do not accept his worship, nor the fire accept the oblations poured by him. If the person that performs sacrifices does not pay the sacrificial fees that he resolves to pay, and who accepts the offer does not demand the sum, both of them go to hell. But if the performer of the sacrifices does not pay when the priest demands the fee, then the yagaman only pulls down to hell as the jar severed from the rope. O Narada, thus I have narrated to you the story of Dakshina. What more do you want to hear? Narada said, O best of Munis, who bears the fruits of the karmas where no Dakshina is paid? Narayana said, where do you find the fruit of any sacrifice without Dakshina? Nowhere. That karma only gets fruits when Dakshinas are paid, and the fruits of the actions void of any Dakshina, but who lives in the Patala only enjoys, and no one else. For in the olden times it was ordained by Vamana Devi that those fruits would go to the king of Ali. All those that pertain to Shraddha not sanctioned by the Vedas, the charities made without any regard or faith, the worship offered by Brahmins made without any regard to faith, the fruits of the sacrifices, the worship offered by impure persons, and the act of a man devoid of any devotion to his guru, all these are reserved for the king Bali. He enjoys the fruits of all these. O child, I'm now telling you the dhyan, the strota, and the method of worship of Dakshina Devi. Here, when Yagyadeva, the ancient times, got Dakshina, skillful in action, he was very much fascinated by her appearance and facing love-stricken, began to praise her. O beautiful one, you were before the chief of the gopis in the Golaka. You were like Radha. You were her companion, and you were loved by Sri Radha, the beloved of Sri Krishna. In the Rasa circle on the full moon night, in the moon of Kartika, in the great festival of Radha, you appeared from the right shoulder of Lakshmi. Hence you were named Dakshina. O beautiful one, you were of good nature before, hence your name is Sushila. Next you turned due to Radha's curse into Dakshini. It is to my great good luck that you were dislodged from Golaka and have come here, O highly fortunate one. Now have mercy on me and accept me as your husband. O Devi, you give to all the doers of actions the fruits of their works. Without you, their karmas bear no fruit. So much so, if you are not present in their actions, the works never shine forth in brilliant glory. Without thee, neither Brahma nor Vishnu nor Mahesh nor the regents of the quarters, the 10 Dikpalas, can award the fruits of actions. Brahma is the incarnate of karmas. Maheshvara is the incorporate of the fruits of karma, and I, Vishnu myself, is the incarnate of yagyas. But thou art the essence of all. Thou art the para-prakriti without any attributes, the para-brahma incarnate, the bestower of the fruits of actions. Bhagavan Krishna cannot award the fruits of actions without thee. O beloved, in every birth, let thou be my Shakti. O thou with excellent faith, without thee, I am unable to finish well my karma. O Narada, thus praising Dakshini Devi, Yagya stood before her. She, born with the shoulder of Lakshmi, became pleased with his strota and accepted him for her bridegroom. If anybody recites this strota during sacrifice, he gets all the results thereof. In the act of giving over wealth or pieces of lands, digging tanks, or any other good things, Shiva Yagya, Rudra Yagya, for crushing the enemies. The strotas thus is mentioned now. Hear about the dhyan and the method of worship. First of all, one should worship in the salagrama stone or in the earthen jar, gata, Dakshina Devi. The dhyan runs this. O Dakshina, thou art sprung from the right shoulder of Lakshmi. Thou art a part of Kamala. Thou art clever in all the actions, and thou bestow the fruits of all actions. Thou art the Shakti of Vishnu. Thou art revered, worshipped. Thou bestoweth all that is auspicious. Thou art purity. Thou bestoweth purity. Thou art good-natured. So I meditate on thee. Thus meditating, the intelligent one should worship Dakshina with the principal mantra, with the offerings of various sorts. Now the mantra is Om Shrim Klim Hrim Dakshinai Swaha, With this mantra, all the offerings, such as padyas and other things, are to be given, and one should worship as per rules Dakshina Devi with devotion. O Narada, thus I have stated to you the anecdote of Dakshina. Happiness, pleasures, and the fruits of all karmas are obliged by this. Being engaged in sacrificial acts if one hears attentively this dhyan of Dakshina, his sacrifice becomes defectless. So much so that the man who has got no sons undoubtedly gets a son. Has a wife, he gets the best wife. He gets the best natured, beautiful wife. If he be void of learning, he gets learning. If he be poor, he gets wealth. If he has no attendance, he gets attendance. If a man hears for 1 month the stota of Dakshina Devi, he gets over all difficulties and dangers, bereavements from his friends, troubles, imprisonments, and all other calamities. Here ends the 45th chapter of the 9th book on the anecdote of Dakshina in the Mahapurana Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses. Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Vishveshwari Mata ki jai, Bole Baba ki jai.